What's up, y'all? Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. It's Saturday about 5 o'clock or so, and we're still feeling the back end of the remnants of that storm that just came through Asheville and the surrounding areas. Folks, I ain't even gonna kid you. Just got back from Asheville and the surrounding areas, and it looks like Godzilla just walked all over it. I'm not kidding. Everything down by the river, I mean, it looks like downtown Baghdad. I'm not kidding, y'all. It is a complete mess. But let me back up. And the biggest reason I'm doing this video right now is because my phone, when I finally got a little bit of service, it was blowing up. Everybody I know of is texting me, so it's just easier to communicate this way. So in a nutshell, it came through and that stuff came in sideways. We got a little bit of damage to the house. Shingles missing, sheetrock damage, some water damage. This stuff was coming in sideways. But you know what? I'm standing here and Michelle's fine too. There's a whole lot of dead people out there that didn't make it on the other side of this thing. So, yeah, I'll just suck it up. It's just horrible to think about how many people died, probably unnecessarily. But anyway, as far as damage, yeah, we got some to the house, nothing we can't fix. Got some trees that fell down, but I was going to cut them down anyway. So that turned out to be a blessing. And animals are fine. Everything's fine. As far as power, this is why we prepare, y'all. This is exactly what we talk about, especially in our podcast. Permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. This is why we prepare. If you hear a little bit of noise in the background, it's one of my generators. Well, actually, two of them going right now. So we're prepared in that department. I mean, we got gasoline, we got diesel, we got LP. We got solar, all those things. And two is one is none. So, we're redundant in a lot of that stuff. Even if we didn't have any power at all, we're still fine. And this is why we prepare, especially for things like this. Now, I'm going to get in a little bit closer. It looks like the wind just picked up a little bit. So just, look, there's a cautionary tale in all this. Look, no need to worry. Everything's fine. High atop Billy's Jungle Palace of Love, okay? So let me just tell you, after the storm rolled through yesterday, once we found out, we looked around like, okay, everything's fine. Everybody's kicking. Everybody's living. We don't have power. We don't have internet. We never have cell phone service out here anyway, so that's nothing new. We're like, okay, let's load up these chainsaws and we'll go to town and then we'll bring some gas jugs because at this point we have no idea what's going on or how bad it was or wasn't. So we go into Mars Hill, which is the nearest town to us. Go in there, I see people lined up all over the place at the gas station, and the gas station shut down. No power. Go up the street to where the grocery store is. There's a giant gas station there, and no power. People lined up. Got out, talked to some of them, and I said, as I'm chit-chatting to some of them, they're like, man, I can't even go anywhere else to check and see if they got gas because I can't get up the road. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going up to Irwin, which is across the border in Tennessee, and I'll find out what's up. Only to get half the way up there, only to find out that highway patrolman spun us around and said, nope, got to go back. Can't get through. So long story short, the only way in and out of this entire region, there used to be I-40, and I say used to be I-40, going east and west, and then you had 26, technically goes east and west, but through here it goes north and south. Basically, there's only one way in, and that's coming up south from the areas that have already been devastated. So if you wanted to go get gas, what are you going to do? Drive down through the devastation to go get it? This is why we prepare, y'all. I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm saying this is that it's a cautionary tale because this thing gets a little bit hairier. So those same people I saw at the gas station, I'm like, okay, well, good luck to you. We'll see you around. Come back to the house. This morning we decide, okay, let's grab the chainsaws and everything else again. Anybody needs some help? We're going to go see if we can lend a hand somewhere since everything's squared away around here. Go back to the same gas station. The same people I saw yesterday are the same people I saw today. There were some police officers over there, and there's a ton of people over there. And the police officers said, hey, I asked, what about food and water? They're like, dude, we took all the food and water out of that Ingles, which is a grocery store around here, dropped it off at the shelter. And I said, what about these folks here? He says, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think anybody's thought that far ahead. And I'm like, good night. So the same guy I spoke to the day before, yesterday, same one I spoke to today. And of course, the gas station is shut down. Now, let me ask you, how long do you think people are going to be there before they kick the doors in on that grocery store and go help themselves to what's on those shelves? I don't know. But I will tell you this, after we were done there and realized, okay, nothing's going on, let's drive through Asheville. We'll see if, maybe there's a gas station out there. We're good to go here, but we'll bring the gas cans anyway in case we come across something. Drive through Asheville. And I kid you not, y'all, looking off to the side of the river, there's a lot of businesses located alongside there. Every single one of them, absolutely every one of them, just laid waste. It looks, I mean, the only thing I can compare to it is when I was in that May 3rd tornado in Oklahoma, in Moore, Oklahoma. I was there for that. I walked out of Crossroads Mall, looked out there, and it looked like I was on another planet. That's how crazy it was. Well, that's the way it's looking right now in Asheville. So, yes, this is a disaster of biblical proportions. And it's awful that there's only one way in and out. But I can't help but think about the fact that, there's only one way in and out of here. Maybe if our troops weren't elsewhere, maybe we can get those guys over at Fort Bragg to sling load stuff to helicopters and maybe drop them down in the middle of Asheville, some food and water for all those people that are suffering right there. Maybe they can do it in some of the surrounding areas. But oh, no, all of our troops are spread all over this planet. But I digress. Yeah, I see helicopters flying around, but I don't see any of them sling loading any supplies that could help anybody. Just observing the sights, huh? Anyway, driving along through Asheville, I'm getting myself together here. Driving along through Asheville, we said, okay, at this time, we don't have any idea that I-40 either way is shut down. So we said, okay, we'll just head on out like we're heading on over to Hickory. We're driving that way. And meanwhile, traffic comes to a complete halt. Want to know why? Now, first of all, before I say what I'm about to say, I want to give a serious hat tip and a shout out to all you selfless first responders out there that are doing work that nobody else wants to do. Thank you for your service. But I don't thank all of you rubberneckers that literally parked, and I'm talking maybe 50 cars parked up alongside this bridge with their cell phones out. So if you're expecting me to do some of this gratuitous vulgarity that you see from other YouTube channels where you're expecting to see the devastation, look, I don't have any footage like that. I'm not, even if I did, I wouldn't show it to you. But you see all these rubberneckers standing on the edge of that bridge, laughing, pointing to one another. Ha, 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 ha. People are dead down there, and this is what we've become? This is what's important to you? Meanwhile, first responders can't get by on these choke points like bridges and stuff because you got idiots. Yes, you are idiots. You should be wrapped in the head with a tack hammer. That's how much of an idiot you are. You got idiots that are preventing these first responders, fire trucks, ambulances, police officers, you name it. Finally, we said, look, okay, we're not helping anybody. Obviously, there's nothing here to do. Let's just go ahead and get on the off-ramp. We're going to go back the other way once we saw what was happening. As we're on the off-ramp coming back, police are now on the bullhorn saying, get off the blankety-blank bridge. We can't get to people. And they aren't moving. Or they're barely moving. And the people on the side of the road we were now driving back on, they weren't moving at all. They're going to wait for the cop to get around and turn back and tell them to move. I can't even believe this is what we've become. We are a society that knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. We celebrate the idiots and we castigate the intellectuals. We got people out there literally trying to save lives. And we got people rubbernecking on the side of the roads, preventing their emergency vehicles to get through. So I'm gonna get off that point before I get myself a little bit too upset. And I'm just gonna say, look, on another note, when you hear our podcast or anything else, look, we always talk about permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. Nobody in these hills. In fact, speaking to some of the locals down here that have lived here for generations, he said there is not even anything even close to what. There's not even a close second to the devastation that's just happened in this area. Nobody in living memory can ever cite of anything like it. So, I'm just telling you, at all times, folks, be especially prepared. All those people at that gas station, would they have done well to have some water in the vehicle? Would they have done well to have maybe some emergency communication in their vehicles? Would they have done well to have some food in that vehicle? Or some of those folks I spoke to were not even from around here. They could have escaped. They could have gotten away, but they didn't. And now they're stuck at a gas station for who even knows how long. Hopefully we can help those folks out if need be. But, folks, we are living in weird times. And if you want to know just how weird, stay tuned to the podcast. I'm going to try to do it live. Hopefully later this week, if I still got some kind of signal, with Dane Wigington from Geoengineering Watch. And you're going to find out that a whole lot of anomalies just happened at exactly the same time this thing was going on. But that's another thing altogether. I want to thank everybody for your well wishes, and I want to ask you to pray for all these people that are suffering out there. And until next time, stay alert, stay alive.